Don Stroman may have been short in stature, but he stood tall over a lifetime of faithfulness to his family and service to his community. A Stevens County farmer since the early 1950s, Don was known to be honest, generous, reliable, and hardworking, with a creative problem-solving bent that served him well. He was a history buff, storyteller, and dancer, and one who traveled the back roads to find new adventures. While he was not a Stevens County native son, he and his wife Betty made the community their home for over 60 years, raising 7 children on the farm, all of whom went on to college and successful careers. He passed on his belief that doing what was best for the most people rather than special interests was critically important. His goal was to make things better. Don helped many people in need, in ways known only to him and them, providing a hand up, as others had done for him.
Don was born on November 3, 1924, on a stormy day in the family farmhouse near Swanville. He arrived just after his twin sister, Doris. A neighbor and midwife delivered the twins and had to give Don several slaps before he began to cry. The doctor arrived a few days later on a train from Little Falls. Don grew up there with 3 sisters and a brother. His parents, Charles and Anna Jensen Stroman, were immigrants looking for a better life in America. His dad arrived by boat from Sweden at 13, and his mother came in 1912 from Denmark at 23. Don's mother had hoped to sail to America on the Lusitania, but did not have the funds needed, so she delayed her trip. They met in the harvest fields of North Dakota, where Charles was running a threshing machine and Anna was cooking. They married in 1915 and invested in a small farm near Swanville. Don's parents insisted that the children learn to speak English because you are Americans now.
When Don and Doris turned 8, they began country school at District 79, just over a mile from their home. Don recalled among the 54 students, there were several older toughies who made school days difficult for the younger children like him, and especially the female teachers. Hard work on the family farm instilled a work ethic that was always part of Don's life. He grew up during the Great Depression years and learned to appreciate everything he had. He learned to drive in his early teens, taking his mother in the family's Model A to the cities for her many cancer treatments.
In the 1940s, several things happened that set the direction for the rest of his life. On November 5, 1941, Anna Stroman died. Just 2 days before her death, she had her last conversation with Don and Doris, wishing them a happy 17th birthday. 1 month later, World War II broke out, but high blood pressure kept Don home. Keeping a promise to his mother, he graduated from Swanville High School in May 1942.
With his father, Don worked on harvest crews in west central and central Minnesota. He liked the area around Alberta and Chicago, but his father thought it was too windy and bare. Don especially liked working as a farmhand in Baker Township for George Kampmeyer, where he learned the art of farming. They became lifelong friends. In November 1945, his father died suddenly from a stroke. Since Don was the only one who wanted to farm, he stayed while his sisters moved to Portland, Oregon to work in war defense plants, and his brother found work in Minneapolis.
Don decided he didn't want to spend the winter alone, so he sold the farm and decided to hitchhike to Oregon to see his sisters. He got rides to Jamestown, North Dakota, and while waiting for a train in a restaurant, a fellow offered him a ride to Miami, Florida. He just wanted company on the trip and paid for everything, so Don decided to go along and see more of the country. From Florida, Don hitchhiked west through the southern states, ending up in California, and later lived in Portland, working for a plumbing company. In the spring, the farm life called again, and Don thumbed it back to Swanville, hiring out to do farm work in west central Minnesota.
While working in the Alberta area, Don met Betty Jean Foley, who was cooking for threshers at her family's farm home south of Alberta. Don was interested, so he inquired about her at a dance in Alberta. Later, when she had moved to Portland, he and a friend, Ralph Gans, went there to visit. Friends got them together there, and they continued dating when they came back to Minnesota. Don and Betty were married on September 16, 1950 at Assumption Catholic Church in Morris. They started out by renting land from her parents in Scott Township, 2 miles north of the Foley home farm, which was homesteaded in 1876. Don said that marrying Betty and moving to Alberta was one of the best decisions he made in his life. In 1960, they bought the quarter section where they also raised cattle, pigs, chickens, and other livestock. Don recalled that when they decided to purchase 2 cows, the cost seemed astronomical at $400 apiece.
In 1951, their first child Diane was born, and Julie followed in 1953. In April 1954, twins Kenneth and Keith were born prematurely. Kenneth died a few days after birth. This was a very difficult time for them, but their love and faith held them together. Beverly was born in 1957, Marie in 1960, Marcella in 1965, and Kevin in 1966. It soon became necessary to put an addition on their home to accommodate the growing family. In 1958, they raised 500 chickens and sold eggs for 19 cents a dozen. The family also raised and sold 500 dressed roosters for $10 a dozen, earning money for school clothes. They farrowed 20 sows and had 2 sheep to help keep the grass down, and later, turkeys to keep the kids in line. In one tough year, Don and Betty lost nearly an entire herd of pigs due to hog cholera. Out of the herd of 150, only 21 survived. Doc John Bush was in his first year as a veterinarian and incorrectly diagnosed the cholera. In spite of that tragic setback, Don kept a positive attitude, and he and Doc remained lifelong friends.
While farming full-time with the help of his son Keith, Don started his service as the postmaster in Alberta in 1963. He built a new post office building in 1965 and rented it to the Postal Service for over 50 years. After 22 years of handling the mail and listening to several hundred life stories across the post office counter, Don retired in 1987.
One of the causes near and dear to his heart was education. He was elected to the Alberta School Board at the time when talk of merging with Chicago got serious. Board members spent a busy year that included 45 meetings leading up to the decision to consolidate the school districts. In the 9 years he served, he said one of the biggest challenges came early on with naming the new district. Naturally, both communities wanted their name first, and the battle lines were set. After 4 unproductive meetings, the combined board decided to draw a name out of a hat, and thus the Chicago, Alberta School Spartans became a new entity in 1967-68. Don recalled that he didn't make many new friends that year, but he held firm in his belief that consolidation was the right thing to do.
From the 1950s on, Don was active in the Stevens County DFL Party, Farmers Union, and Scott Township Community Chest. He was a founding member of the Alberta Wildlife Federation, where he and his family helped with many fish fries and other conservation fundraisers. He and Betty also encouraged their children's school, church, and 4-H activities. He was especially proud of his work in starting the Alberta Area Improvement Corporation, which built 5 new homes in Alberta and helped Main Street businesses get started. Don also served on the Stevens County HRA Board for 13 years, helping select candidates for low-income housing repair loans. While selling seed corn, he enjoyed many visits with area farmers. He retired from civic involvement in 1987, but continued to monitor the area's progress on all fronts. According to Don, you can't take all the benefits of being and living in a community and give nothing back. He passed that philosophy on to his children, who are proud to say they learned by his example as a positive role model.
Don and Betty loved traveling, taking the back roads wherever possible, fishing at their favorite spots, and wintering in Arizona for 17 years. They visited 31 states, Canada, and Mexico, making lifelong friends along the way. Dancing was a big part of their social life in retirement, and they made many friends as members of the Heartland Polka Swingers Dance Club in Little Falls for 19 years. One of Don's favorite hobbies was restoring antique John Deere tractors. He restored and sold a total of 13 tractors over the years, He was a John Deere man, tried and true.
Following their official retirement in 1990, it took 2 auction sales in 2003 and 2007 to ready them for the move to a home in Morris. They celebrated their 50th anniversary in 2000, and their first grandchild, born in 1974, gave birth to their first great-grandchild in 2001. After a lengthy illness and 5 years of dialysis, Don lost his beloved partner in life in July 2010. In December 2011, his farmer son Keith called with some devastating news. Don said, "You never want to get a call from your son saying he has inoperable cancer. That is as bad as it gets." Keith died the day before his 58th birthday in April 2012. Don not only lost a son, but his farming partner and best friend. The farming operation is now in the capable hands of Keith's son Joe. Don often checked in on the third generation of farmers in the family, offering his practical advice and positive attitude.
Don continued to winter in Arizona into his 90s, walking daily and hardly letting a day go by without meeting a new friend. He adapted well to his diminishing eyesight due to macular degeneration, relying on family and friends to help him navigate life. While he cherished his independence, his practical, positive attitude allowed him to accept help graciously. The legacy that Don left to his family, friends, and community is one of unselfish service to others, being mindful of those in need, and constantly looking for better ways of doing things. He was a man of his word, and his integrity has stood the test of time.